Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today at this DoubleJump webinar. We have Brice Lehmann with us, our newest instructor for the 10-month FX Masters program. The program is unique and offers something I wish I had 10 years ago. I would take it in a heartbeat, honestly. Being mentored by someone like Bryce with so much experience and going home with 3 to 4 full showreel shots is pretty much all I ever wanted as a young FX artist trying to find my way in this industry. Bryce, thank you for joining us, and it's super awesome to have you with us here at DoubleJump.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited, and I would have loved it too at my time to have this kind of thing. It would have been so awesome. But instead, I had to kind of struggle through a lot by myself because at that time, tutorials and masterclasses didn't really exist. There was a few things, but not great, and wow, it was tough time. So would have been nice
before the internet, before
pretty much. Come on, I'm not that old.
But yeah, dude, it was the same for me. I had to, it was only a few workshops and forums, and you were just kind of alone trying to figure things out, which is good, but it was a lot. It took a long time. Essentially what we're doing here is we're almost like a time machine for most people, right? We really accelerate the whole learning path and get them to their desired destination a lot faster and with much more experience. So anyway,
but it was tough, but
it was
it's a good experience.
I have a first quick question for you. Usually we start with a more fun question, and that question is, do you have any cool fun or embarrassing stories given that you have such an extensive career, do you have any cool stories you can tell us?
I mean, there's so many stories, things that probably I shouldn't talk about, but maybe I have one which is, it's kind of a funny one, but I'll just tell you about how I met not your mother, but one of my FX lead. So I was hired by this company in Sydney, Australia, and so I had to fly from Paris to Sydney, and because I wanted to see my brother, he was away for a while, so we catched up just a few hours before my flight. I took the latest flight possible, the last flight possible, and I arrived in Sydney the morning of my first day at work. So I arrived at 6 a.m., checked out of the airport, took a train, then I took a bus, and basically I stepped out of the bus with another guy, and he starts looking at me a bit funny, and he's like, "Are you Bryce?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, dude, I'm your FX lead." and that's how we met, just at the bus stop on the way to the office. And he was like, "Man, what the fuck?" Because I had all my luggage with me, big luggage, backpack, sling. And he was like, "What the hell?" And so I tell him, explain to him and he was like, "Dude, you're fucking insane." And we became fast friends, and we are still really close friends. He's now CG Soup. But that was kind of a fun thing, just a fun meet, I guess. Yeah.
You said crazy. That was in Singapore?
Sydney, Australia.
Sydney, yeah. What was the studio you were working at?
So at the time it was called Illura. Then it's been replaced by Method. But it was medium-sized studios. Pretty cool stuff.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, I think we can jump into I guess discussing the 10 months FX Masters program. What do you think is the best way to describe it?
Wow. How many hours do you have? Well, I'd say it's quite unique. I mean, I've never seen something like it anywhere. Maybe it exists, but I just don't know about it. Like so many things to say, but the end goal is quite simple, really, is to create an awesome demo reel with 4 shots ideally, and so that the people can start applying and find a job straight after. That's the main goal. So I've created this a few years back, actually. And the whole idea is to mimic how we do things in studio. So everything we do in studios, I try to bring that into this program. And I think we are really close. Like, so many things, like we do dailies every week, multiple times a week, the way we have feedback session and all of that, it's very, very close to what we do in studios. I even try to get the same tools, like, tools like production tools like ShotGrid or other F-Track, whatever, there's plenty of it. So yeah, we really try to make it as close as possible as what you would experience in the studio. So you're really prepared, basically.
How intensive is the workshop? Is it like full time? How much time do you think a student will have to spend essentially with you per week, or like, per month? Or
so it's really intense. I'm asking an 8 hours of work per day. So it's basically, it's like a full-time job, really. So we do 8 hours in studios. So I'm asking also 8 hours of work every day. Of course, I can't force anyone. If you do less than that, it's up to you. But, I will not give you any promises on the results, right? It is tough. It is intense. But at the end, you're ready to apply for FX position in 10 months, where usually you would spend 4 or 5 years in a school and, pay the price that goes with that.
Yeah.
So we try to bring that into a 10 months program.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Talking about the price, I was looking online at similar programs. You told me you were actually teaching a program like this at a school in France. I think the price was around $10,000, right? Back then.
Back then it was a little bit less, but yeah, close.
Yeah. And other schools, I talked to a few other people, also like charge between 10,000, some schools even 20 or 30,000. So we're going to try to be much, much cheaper, just so we are as affordable as possible. We are still determining the price, but I think it's going to be around, we don't know, but like around 5 to 4K. That's where we're still debating. Because essentially this is going to be your full-time job for 10 months, right?
Yeah, exactly. So as you said, so I've run this program for 2 years in a VFX school in France, and I actually see one of my past students that is connected. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I still have contacts with my students, which is pretty cool. That's one part I really like about it as well. But yeah, when I run this program, it was on top of my day job. So the first year I was working at Weta, and the second year I was working at ILM Sydney. So it was pretty much the same thing, but on a much, much smaller scale, obviously, because, I had very limited time. But yeah, I've decided to try to go full time on this, and hopefully we can make it work, and it's going to be awesome.
Well, so far, I think we have 75 people interested. We are going to have to limit this a lot, so because it is intensive and it is like very personalized, one-on-one. We will split people into teams, right? Yeah. I guess you can talk more about that, but what I'm trying to say is that because of the scope of this program, it will have to be very limited. We're still also deciding on the amount of students Bryce can even take on, but we're trying to ensure everybody gets enough time with Bryce and enough feedback and just, you know, interaction. That's why it really has to be like a small number. So 75 people already are interested. So we will have to do like a deduction process. So we will check up your show reel. We will talk to you guys. We will start emailing everybody individually, essentially going through a selective process, essentially, just because there's too much interest. But hopefully, if everything goes well, we will run this program multiple times. But it's just going to be every 10 months, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, we want to make sure that, you know, everyone has a fair share of time, and so we're still kind of tweaking things, as Urban said, in terms of how many people can join. So about like splitting into teams, I'll talk about that a little bit. So the reason for that is that there are multiple reasons. First one is just an organization thing. It's much easier to handle things. It's more streamlined. It makes the whole thing runs more smoothly. The second thing is that by being in a team, you'll be able to interact with each other more easily. You will have like kind of a close team thing going on. So if, you know, maybe one of you has an issue, you can ask to your teammate that maybe has an answer for you, you know, because if I'm not available at that time, you know, you still need to keep going, keep working. So that's really nice. And the social thing is really important in our job. And that's something that you can bring out in the interview. You know, you can be like, yeah, I worked with 2 other artists. And, you know, being a team player is super important in this job.
Yep.
And the last thing is that one of the 4 shots that we're going to do is a team shot, right? So again, being a team player, but also what it will allow us to do is to have something much bigger. We're going to go bigger, larger, more epic, right? So we'll have 3 people on one shot, so we can really push things and create some awesome stuff.
Yep. I don't know if you guys saw, if everybody have seen the promo. I'll link the landing page here again, and you can check in the promo. You can see some of the work of the previous students of a similar program that Bryce was teaching, and you can see the teamwork and then individual shots that the students did, and it's amazing. It really looks great. A lot of people were interested, what is the level of knowledge they have to already have when they enter?
Well, that's a tough question. I would say having a solid foundation in Houdini is really important. So that's kind of the short answer. And the long answer would be, if you're like super passionate and you know you want to do this job like 200%, and you're willing to go above the base, which would be like 8 hours a day, you're willing to work harder and, you know, longer, then maybe there's a spot for you even as a beginner. But yeah, the base program is already quite intense, so you'll have to be ready to push even further.
Is there, somebody was asking about the structure of the program. Now, the structure it's written on the landing page, but maybe in your words, like what would you say, how will this program look like in the 10 months?
Sure. So as I said, 4 shots. So it's roughly 2 months per shot. So there will be some holidays. We'll still have the, you know, Christmas holidays and probably spring break. I'm sure you'll be happy to have those to relax a little bit, and me too at the same time. But yeah, roughly 2 months per shot. On a daily basis, how it's going to work. So I'll make the short version, but we will have multiple what we call dailies. So for those who don't know, in studios, every day or pretty much we have dailies, which is basically like meetings where we present our work, and the VFX soup is giving us feedback, right, on the artistic and technical sides. And then we just go back to our desk and keep working and improve on our work, our version. So we'll do the same thing. So I'll see every one of you multiple times a week and give them feedback on what they're presenting, right? And we'll build the shots like this. It's kind of like a building blocks, right? And on the side, we'll also have kind of I'll call it classes where we're gonna be all together, right? And I'll do some presentation. So it can be maybe I'll do something on a flip, like a flip specific course, like class. Maybe it will be about optimizing your setups. Maybe it will be about how to build the shots the proper way, how to be efficient. So a lot of like small classes like that every now and then. It will also be like introduction to Nuke for those who don't know anything about Nuke, because being able to do a pre-comp of your effects, it's part of the job, super important. So yeah, a lot of little classes. I don't have like a list because one of the strong points of this program is that I'm gonna adapt to you, right? So if I see that 75% of people have no idea how to light a scene for your DFX, maybe I will do a special segment on that. I will build something on the spot to accommodate that, or it can be on Nuke, it could be on color grading or anything. So a lot of different things like this. And towards the end of the year, there's two classes. One is about demo reel. So I'll tell you what to do, what not to do, how to properly build the demo reel. And the second class is about preparing for the interview. Again, I will tell you what to expect during the interview and how to prepare for it. And eventually we'll do like a role play. So I'll make with each and every one, I'll make a phone call or like a video call, and I'll just pretend to be a recruiter, and we'll do just a fake interview, and I'll give you feedback on that as well, so you can improve.
That's awesome. I think that's super important. Yeah, I was so scared when I had my first interview with a recruiter. I was shaking. It was insane.
Yeah.
So it would help me a lot to have some role plays with someone, just to get that fear off, get the first few iterations out of the way. So yeah.
Exactly. Like just sometimes just because it's the first time or you're not sure what to expect, it's like the unknown, and that makes it scary. So I'm trying to take this out of the equation by just telling you how it goes, what's the exact process, because it's pretty much always the same. And then we do a call, and so just you can give it a try and then work on it.
Yeah. So I like this that essentially the whole program is very procedural. You do have some lessons that you will do, but it's very much dependent on what the students in this case will need, and also it depends on the shots, right, that you guys are going to be building. So are the shots something that you decide together with the artists, with the students, or do you have something already in mind that they're going to be making?
So it's something we decide together. So there are some parameters that I've set up for a reason. So the idea basically is that each shot is here to show some qualities, some type of knowledge or something like that. So for example, there's one full 3D shots. So that's to show that, yes, I can do effects, but I can do also other things, right? It won't be at the same level. I'm not expecting you to do some crazy environment, for example. So we'll do some cheats, to fast track this to get to the effects part. But it's nice to show this kind of thing and say, yeah, I can do full 3D. Then we have, for example, one of the other shot is integrate an FX in a plate and make it as seamless as possible. Because, if you work in the VFX industry, you work with plate and you integrate your effects in the plate. So you have to match the lighting, So there's a whole lot of things. And again, that's showcasing some specific skills. And all the shots are like this. So there are some parameters that I will give the students, but then they can, search online or whatever, wherever they want, and they come up with some options, and then we kind of select it together. Because I'm also here to guide, and I'm not gonna tell you, yeah, just do that if it's too difficult or if it takes too long to do. It has to be, something that is doable in a 2 month period, which goes really quickly. Actually, it feels long, like 2 months on one shot, but it actually goes super quick,
dude.
So yeah, I'm here also to keep things working.
Yeah, every time we do a workshop, so we're finishing up the explosions workshop, and I have a team of 3 people that are helping building the scenes. And in the beginning, we were like, okay, we're gonna render 4 to 5 shots. We have 3 months to do this, easy peasy, right? And now we have like almost 12 shots that we need to render. It's been like 6 months that we've been working on this. It's just freaking time is just flying by us, and the workshop is getting bigger and bigger because we want to put more and more stuff in it. And then every month we're like, well, but what about if we also put this in? And then we start developing new workflows, and it just never ends. So yes, you need someone to keep you in check. Yeah,
exactly.
Cool. Well, we talked about this a bit yesterday about the industry. So the industry was not in the best spot in the past year and a half, but we both know, we have like very good information that studios are getting work, projects are scheduled, and a lot of people are getting hired right now. And we were talking about this, how actually in a way it's so perfect, because probably in 10 months it's going to be the best time to be like a decent FX artist, because a lot of studios have a lot of projects coming up right now. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I totally agree with you. I mean, I would even say that it was probably the worst time. Like this past year has been the worst time. I've never seen that in my 12 years experience. So I don't know before, but definitely was the worst. With those 2 strikes, one after the other, I mean, kind of following each other. It was nuts. Lots of people lost their job. I'm not gonna lie. But as you said, things are starting to pick up again, clearly from September this year. I know companies like ILM and Luma are looking for FX artists. So it's still more on the mid to senior segments, to be honest. But like 2025, there's lots of production coming back. It actually did I think it's going to do the same thing it did for COVID. I don't know if you remember, but when there was COVID, it was like this big dip in production. Everyone was freaking out. It was insane. And for like 6 months, there was pretty much no job. And but then, companies adapted. We had the work from home thing going on. And then we had like a surge of projects. It was insane. So I don't know if it's going to reach that, but I think there's a pattern. It happens every few years usually. So yeah, like starting the program in October, that means we're going to end up, midsummer, somewhere there. Which is summer in most of the time is a kind of a low period in any case. And that September is when it starts to pick up even more. So the timing is kind of perfect. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Everybody's going to be ready. Brand new show reels ready to go. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Let's see if we have any questions. Fletch is asking that we said that you need a solid foundation. Could you expand a bit on that? Does that mean that 1 or 2 years of experience, or just understanding how each solver works?
So not 2 years, like not 1 or 2 years. I mean, it depends. Like you can learn the basics in, I don't know, if you really work your, super hard, you can maybe learn the basics in 1 month, or I don't know, like it can be really quick. So, but yeah, just knowing the basics, knowing your way around Houdini, knowing how the base solver works, not even all of them, but just like doing some particle stuff, doing some pyro stuff. I'm not even flip. I think that can be a class we do. But yeah, just like having a good foundation in 3D in general, like CG in general. And then Houdini, like particles and pyro and this kind of things. And like the thing is, the more the more you know, when you start this program, the higher you will get at the end, right? Because you'll be able to push things, and so if you know already, if you have quite solid foundation, that's really good.
Yeah. Matt has a very good question. Will the course be adjusted based on which studio you want to work in? Because some studios want, some specific things in they're looking for specific things in an artist.
So no, it's not gonna be adapted per studio. Like most studios will be looking for the same thing. Like if there's basically two strands, right? There's the VFX studios and there's the animation studios, right? So that's sort of different, but the thing is, if you know how to do effects in one, it's not that hard to adapt to the other one. Okay, but that's also why we have different shots. So the shots where we put the FX on a plate, that's more for VFX oriented people, and then the full 3D one, that's more for the animation kind of shots, right? So we're already kind of playing with both, but the classes won't be specific. The classes will be it's general, but it applies for any kind of effects you want to do.
Do you think senior 2D FX animators with basic knowledge of Houdini in this course?
Yeah,
2D effects is
definitely
great. Yeah, we can have one shot.
It's awesome.
Well, let's put some 2D effects in it.
Man, they would have a super good understanding of timing and an artistic side of that. I think that would be awesome.
Is programming a part of this course as well?
No. That's, I think,
like Vex. I think they're about Vex.
So there will be some Vex, but it will be like sprinkled in the classes, and it will be kind of case specifics. I'm not gonna do the whole thing about how to do Vex, right? First of all, there are some awesome tutorials online that are doing that very well, and with illustrations and everything. That some people spend actually a lot of time doing that. So if you want to learn like Vex, you can already do it, I think. And since my time, I don't have much of it, so it's kind of valuable. I prefer to spend that with the people, trying to teach them what doesn't exist online for free, right? And that's actually one thing I want to talk about, is that tutorials, there's so many now online. It's really everywhere. You get free ones, you get some that are you have to pay for, but so many resources. And one thing that I feel is that most of them is about technique, right? It's about the technical side of things, and very few spend time on the artistic side of things. And that's also one thing I'm trying to sort of fix in this program, is that we're going to spend a lot more time to talk about the artistic sides, because what you have to keep in mind is that at the end of the day, we create images. The director on the movie doesn't, give a shit how you did it. He just want to see his shot the way he imagined it. So if you spent 5 minutes and it worked for him, you're gold, right? So that you don't have to do some super tricky stuff or super technical. It doesn't really matter, right? What matters is to have the result that the director wants. So yeah, we'll spend quite a bit of time talking about artistic sides.
Yeah.
And then one of the thing is that I'll try to help you get there faster, right? How to optimize things, how to take a shot to try to get there as fast as possible.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sebastian was asking if we also cover real-time VFX. Probably not.
No.
No real-time VFX. Not in this one.
No, simply because this is like a video game specific. I mean, it's coming like with Ambergen and this kind of things. We can see it coming towards the cinema industry, but it's definitely not there yet. They still have to push the quality a lot more to have like that level of details and control. That's one thing. So yeah, no real-time effects.
Do you discourage people that have a full-time job from joining this course?
Yeah, except if you sleep 4 hours a night and you're willing to do double, like a double job basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, it's the beginning. It's intense. So if you have like a 8 hours day job, you will be behind. You won't be able to keep up, except if you're Superman or something.
Yeah, or if they're already very experienced, I guess they would be able to keep up and kind of.
If yeah, I guess that could be it. If they're very experienced.
Yeah. Sweet.
Because in that case, we would be able to only focus on the artistic side and just creating some nice shots, and we wouldn't have to worry about the technical. So yeah, maybe that could work.
Cool. Let's see more questions.
Yeah, bring it on.
How will that work with different time zones? That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one. Well, it will depend. Like, we don't know where, like.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
We don't know the time zone. We don't really know yet. But I mean, if there are multiple time zones, we will arrange the schedule to make it work, basically. So outside of the dailies, which will take most of my time during each week, I kept basically two different time frame on 2 different days, just for the classes, so we can shift things around, right?
Yep.
Again, I'm here to adapt to whatever you guys need. With one caveat, like I'm just gonna say it, but I won't be able to adapt if one of you asks me one very specific thing, right? It still has to be, at least for a certain amount of people, right? I can't do like very specific thing for one person.
Yeah, makes sense. From all the experiences Bryce has working in the industry, what is the main thing he wants his students to have at the end of this course?
Wow, that's a good one. It's tough. Well, what I want you to have at the end of this course is a job. That's what I want you to have, is to find a job. And but yeah, like apart from that, I don't know, man.
Yeah, like all the right skills that makes you employable and like a very good artist. Also, like I think, like you were saying, like a good team player, that's very important. And also knowing how to work in a studio environment, because a lot of people, like, yeah, sure, you can watch a lot of workshops and work on your own and have amazing show reels, but then you jump into a studio and you're like completely lost. You have no idea how things work. Every studio has a different pipeline. Maybe you're a bit introverted. You're a bit awkward talking to people. You know, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But in a studio, there's like 3 meetings per day, like team meetings. You need to be like talking to everybody, different departments, with people you never met, people coming and going all the time. It's like, it's crazy. It's so organic. It's changing every day. So you need to be, it's hard to be prepared for that. So we're going to try to simulate that in this workshop.
Yeah, it's kind of like an in-between, trying to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like everything I could replicate from a studio, I did. And you know, I run that for 2 years already. So each year I'm improving things. You know, I try to make things better every year. So it's awesome, to be honest. If I can say so myself. I mean, I wish, again, we go back to that, but I wish I had that when I was learning, because damn, it would have been so much easier.
Yeah, I was completely lost in the beginning. I was even taking Max workshops because that was the only one I could take. It was like, there was no Houdini stuff, but there was a 3D Max workshop, and I was like, well, I guess I'm taking that just so I started learning something, so somebody can teach me something, because it was really hard jumping in Houdini. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually started on Maya. Maya Fluids.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And then I think it was 3 or 4 years in, I switched to Houdini, and then never looked back.
Yeah, same here.
But yeah, I think that there's so many things that I bring to the table with this program. I mean, I try to be as, you know, complete as possible. There's a lot of things, like, for example, like, just like a quick example, like on the top of my head, is like, I see so many students right? Because I'm still teaching at the VFX school in France, and I still see so many of the wrong thing, because like they don't know, right? And that's also what you get with this program, is like, I mean, I don't know everything, you know, that's not what I'm saying, but you know, I've been around, and I have a lot of FX lead friends and CG Soup and all of that. So I do know what's good and what's not. So that, you know, you also get access to this experience. So yeah, that's I think that's kind of awesome and a bit unique, because I mean, tutorials, for example, it's super useful. Like, I mean, I still do a lot of tutorials because, you know, it's part of the job. Like, tools get created or upgraded, so you have to, you know, learn for yourself again how to do things. But at the end of the day, it's a one-way thing, right? So you learn and you get what you can from the video, but that's it. There's no back and forth. So then you do the best with what you have.
Yep.
Where here, I'm going to be here to guide you through the whole process, and just make sure that you get at the end and to the finish line.
Yeah. There's also, we have a thing that's called the DoubleJump Hall of Fame. So like the best students and the best projects, we then we push it to, we show those projects to recruiters at other studios, because we all have a lot of connections, and you know, people know us as a school. So we then the best students, the best artists, we try to really push it to studios, so they get an upper hand when it comes to employment. So yeah, so that's
and it's the same thing on my side.
Yeah,
I mean, my network is probably a bit smaller than yours, Urban, but I still also maybe we'll probably push the information and the reels and whatever comes out at the end on my network. And yeah, I'm just trying to get it out there and just make sure that everyone gets a job at the end.
Sweet. What is the start date? When are we starting this?
Good question. So the month is October. The exact start date is still to be defined. Yeah. So month is October, somewhere in there. Probably maybe mid-October, I would say.
Sounds good.
There's actually some space to shift that a little bit. I mean, it should be okay to shift things around.
Can you talk a bit more about what we mean when we say that we're going to mimic a studio environment? Are we going to use like a custom pipeline or stuff like that? How will that work?
Okay, so there are a lot of things that make a studio. Like, for example, so I go back to what I was saying earlier, is dailies, right? So that's a thing that every studios in the world does that. So I've added that to the program, so we do dailies. We're not gonna have a pipeline because it's too big of an infrastructure to create for a program like this. Creating a pipeline is time consuming. It takes a lot of time and iterations, and it also takes someone that is specialized in that, right? I could not create a pipeline, right? You need like a tech guy to do that, and it's super long process, so we won't be able to do that. But we will have a class, for example, where I'll teach you certain things in Houdini, how to organize things, right? And we'll try to be as professional as possible. And so I will give you some sort of guidelines, to how to do things in Houdini, for, again, be as close as possible to what we do in studios. So that's one thing.
When it comes to the pipeline, we are actually developing our own DoubleJump tools. So you were saying that you need a tech guy, and we have Corbin. So Corbin's like a senior FXDD, and actually we are in his workshop, Film Effects. He already gave away a few pipeline tools that he's creating. He's gonna keep improving upon them, but essentially the way in the end what we want to have is like a full studio custom pipeline. Essentially we run DoubleJump as a studio, so we want to have our own pipeline tools in Houdini, and everybody who joins any program will essentially get all of these pipeline tools. So yeah, pipeline.
Well, here you go.
Yeah.
You know that, but yeah, here you go. But another thing as well, I guess, is that for reviewing the progress, there's always like a tool that to review the videos online and everything, which is what we do in studios. So we are still working on that with Urban, but we will have that as well for the program. So you'll be able to upload your videos of your work in progress online. You'll have your own accounts, and then during the dailies, I'll bring that up on the computer and we'll talk about it live. And I'll write feedback, like comments on the video, so you can, come back to it later on and make sure to address those feedbacks. That's exactly what happens in studios.
Are we actually going to have dailies every day?
Not every day. So it's going to be between 2 and 3 times per week. So why? Simply because, let's say, so 1 week is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the next week is going to be Tuesday and Thursday. So basically Monday you show your work, then you have the day plus half a day to address feedback, improve your work, and then you show another version on Wednesday. And the same cycle happens again and again and again.
Sweet.
So yeah, not every day, but 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, which is more
for
than
10
enough.
months.
Yeah, it's
Happy
a lot.
time. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Usually, when I was working at Access, we did have dailies every day, but they were like stand-ups. So it was like a very quick 15-minute, just like standing, and everybody would say what they're doing, if they're struggling with anything, if they need any help, and then we would just go in a circle. It was very efficient, super fast. Yeah.
So I did those. So we were calling them scrubs actually, but not every studio does that. Yeah, usually depends on the FX HOD or the FX lead. But yeah, I did have a couple of studios where usually we were doing that in the morning, but that was more like a FX specific thing, just between FX artists. And then we had dailies as well, per show, was like another thing. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. A lot of people, well, my camera died. It's so hot, my camera died. I'm not joking, the camera overheated.
You see, mine's still working. So at the end,
it's so hot. God. Come on, let me.
Air conditioning.
Yeah, we don't have it. It's the freaking the UK. No air conditioning. Okay, I'm back, but it's
Paris.
Yeah, in 15 minutes it's gonna shut down again. But I guess we can finish this anyway. There's a lot of people asking, what are we gonna look into what are we gonna look at when it comes to the selection? And a lot of people are asking, are we gonna be looking at the show reel? Are we gonna be looking at what their goals are? What are they trying to achieve? What is the main kind of criteria?
I guess that's something to be defined. We haven't really talked about it. I'm guessing the price will be a first kind of selection. Depending where we land, maybe some people won't be able to pay that price. But then I would say, like, looking at, do you have the foundation in Houdini? Do you have like a good and basic understanding of things, what we talked earlier? So that would be the first point, I guess. Urban, if you have if you want to jump on this, maybe it's
I think
on your side as well.
I think showreel 100% important, but then I think it's the determination that always wins me over. Like, if somebody's so determined and they're like, I have only a few months of experience, but I need this. It's like, you need to be, everybody who becomes an FX artist or an artist in general, it's like in your blood. You cannot live without doing this. And if you're that person, and if you can correctly communicate that to us, then I think you're gonna have a good chance of getting in. But it's that determination that I'm looking in people all the time, because then they're gonna go the extra step and actually create something like amazing, and they're gonna really be a good team player, stuff like that. I think if even like in a studio, if you're not a good team player, you get fired. It's, in a lot of cases, it's more important to be like a nice person to work with than be like a super skilled artist. There are examples,
definitely.
But
I'm 100% with you on that. From what I've seen as a teacher, like, the person who do the best are the ones that are the most motivated, and the ones that have a real passion for it.
Yeah,
it has been true all the time. Like, because they're gonna work harder, as you said. They're gonna go the extra step. They're not gonna count their hours. They're gonna push, until it's done, and that's gonna make them good artists later. So 100%. I'd rather have someone that is super motivated, with like kind of a very basic skill of Houdini, that's someone with much more experience, but that I don't feel like he really wants to be there. Right.
Yeah. Okay, any last questions, guys? Then we need to wrap it up because my camera is about to die again. So
just put a little cooler like next to it, like a little fan.
I know.
Right there.
Yeah, I can already see the warning sign. It's like, oh, I'm overheating. Like, don't overheat. But yeah, thanks. all 54 of you that stayed till the end. Let's see. Will the course have certification after it's finished? Yes, we're working on a certificate system. So the certificates, we as DoubleJump are going to have two types of certificates. One is the certificate of completion, which, you know, just means that you finished all the lessons, but and that's fine. That's level 1 certificate. But the main certificate is actually the Hall of Fame certificate. That's the one that actually means something, and that's the one that it's extremely hard to get in. And it has to be hard. It has to mean something. Like if everybody can get in, then, you know, it's not as important. But if you look at our Hall of Fame on the website, you can see the level of quality that you need to get in, which is pretty high. And my camera died. There we go.
Oh, died again.
Okay, let me restart it. Sebastian was saying, for the selection, will we have a call? I'm not sure yet. For now, we're gonna email everyone. I do think having a call might be good. It's a bit time consuming, but I think that's the right way to do it. So maybe me and Bryce are gonna be together and we're gonna hop on calls. It's essentially gonna be like it's gonna be your first interview. maybe you guys already did interviews.
Will be nice.
Yeah, it will be nice. Okay, I think that's it. I think that was it. Okay, one last one. Can we submit pro by the 10th? Yeah, submit on the website. There's a form. If you scroll down, you can submit your interest. Looks like this. Oops.
Yeah. To be honest, guys, like, don't worry about selection. Like if you wanna do it, if you wanna join us, just apply, and then, you know, everything's gonna be smooth after that. But don't worry about that, really.
Yeah.
I think everyone has his shot or her shot to get in. So it's not about just skills, or it's really a whole thing. So yeah, just don't worry about that. Just like, if you really want to do it, just jump in and join us.
Yeah. Some people ask how many people are going to make the cut, and that's also something we're still kind of deciding, but we were thinking between, I don't know, 20 to 30 people. Like that's I think 30 would be almost like the absolute limit, because then it gets really hard for Bryce to give feedback to everyone. But we do need around like 20, so we can split you guys into teams, and so you can make like amazing team projects as well. But it still has to be, like, we're trying to find a good, you know, a good balance. Yeah, between price point and how many people we can let in. And we're just like being super transparent with you. But that's, you know, because Bryce needs to then spend like 10 months on this. It's full time. You know, it's, so that's how we're still deciding, but yeah. Are all the projects going to be done in teams, or will solo projects as well?
No, so just one of the 4 shots will be done in teams. The rest is just you. Like, I mean, it's just solo.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, that's it. Because my camera is gonna.
I mean, one.
No, go.
Okay. Quick little thing about this. Like, if someone really don't want to work in a team, I'm not gonna force it. I think it would be a shame to miss this opportunity. But if someone is really like, no, I don't want to work in teams, I'm okay to just have them do 4 solo shots, right? Just I'll just say there. But I mean, for me, it would be a really, it would be a shame, because it brings so much to the table, just personally and for the interview, all of that. But again, it's something we can talk about.
Oh, okay. People are still writing. Guys, it's so hot in here. I need to open up the freaking window. Can you just quickly ask the questions? You can always ask them on the forum on Discord as well later. So it doesn't have to be here live, but okay, here we go.
Well, I guess you can finish without your camera, maybe.
No. Okay, one last. Okay, but yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, let me know on Discord. Submit your interest, submit your application on the landing page, and yeah, you guys will be hearing from us soon. That's it. All right. Thanks, Bryce.
No.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, awesome
Thanks.
to have you with us.
Thank you, everyone, for being there.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.